Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacqueline at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer here at our network. Happy Friday, happy Saturday, wherever you are in the world. We're just thrilled to have you with us. Our show today is presenting Pet Psychic AMINAH, and we are welcoming back a guest who's been here before. So we'll get to that in a moment. Let's welcome Pet Psychic AMINAH first. Hello.
Hello. How's it there in sunny Texas, Florida, Washington, wherever everybody is, and you, Dr. Jacqueline?
I'm in sunny New Jersey. It's absolutely beautiful. I've got a panoramic view of the bay and the wetlands, so it's absolutely stunning. It's a gift. How are things there in California? Sunny as usual?
Sunny as usual. We were lucky to have a little bit of rain, and I'm just thrilled that if you haven't put in milkweed, it's not too late for our monarch butterflies. That's all over the country and all over the world, and they could use the food. So we're doing a lot with that right now.
You know, I wanted to share with you, and then we'll bring out our guests. We actually have a new show debuting on our channel here, and it's called The Earth Show. And it's going to be Roland and Marcine, our team members who are running it. And we're going to be talking about, they'll be talking about some of the ways that we as humans, as citizens of this planet, can do our share, whether it's picking up a piece of paper. There's so many different things, but I thought you would be excited about that. And
I'm sure very excited about it. Absolutely. And just what you said, pick up a piece of paper. How hard is that? You can wash your hands later.
Yes, for sure.
I'm the one picking up the recycle cans. There's a whole quarter in my mind laying on the street, but it also helps some other animal. We have tragedies of animals getting into cardboard boxes or into food containers and literally suffocating to death slowly because they thought it was food, meaning actual healthy food, and it's not. And we've caused this, so it's our responsibility to correct. And we can. That's the nice thing. Nature lets that rejuvenation happen. We just have to start with our part.
We do have to start. And I really think it's important that we talk about the trauma that is happening to our planet Earth, in addition to the trauma that's happening to each and every one of us. Some people don't believe it. They don't think it's true. And so we're not here to have a political debate. We're here to provide education. That's what our platform is all about. So we actually have someone who is chatting with us. I think your name is Zia Hussam. Hi, nice to have you. Where are you joining us from today? So AMINAH, for people joining for the first time and they're thinking, what is a pet psychic? What does she do? Why are they talking about sustainability, the planet Earth? It's confusing. Tell us a little bit more, and then we'll bring out Hema.
Well, the biggest thing I have learned, especially doing this show, is that I bring up one thing over and over and over. So it is my platform. And a lot of times we don't realize what our platform is and what we talk about the most, and that's coexisting with your pets, with nature, with the animals, with your fellow man and woman and child. It's coexisting. And what does that mean? Well, for me and the way I work through this in our world is, how can I add something to nature, add something to my neighbor's life, add something to the planet besides garbage, and I mean literally trash and or pollution. How can I make a difference in my world? Because you know what? We all do matter. And everybody's like, oh, I'm just one person. But that's where it has to start, with one person. And then another person sees it, and another person. How did we get to an electric car? How did we get to not the car that I was in the 70s, that gallons of gasoline and gallons of smog and all these types of things? Yes, I live in a really small condo, but I have milkweed. And you might say, well, what is milkweed? Milkweed is what monarch butterflies need to survive. But it's not prevalent anymore. It's endangered the butterfly, which is part of the round part of the world and how we all get from A to B to C. Why do I get on animal owners that let their animals outside to go to the bathroom? Well, because you're not feeding them deer and elk and bugs or whatever that animal needs. And so processed pet food does not biodegrade into the soil. It's not good for the soil at all. If they're going to go out and eat deers or bugs or whatever's natural for that animal to eat, then it's going to enrich the soil. That's how the world was meant. Everybody's way of life naturally is supposed to help everybody else, the plants, the clouds for rain, our way of doing things. But we've gotten away from that and gone to simple things like chemicals. In everything, there's chemicals. So that's why you cannot have your dog just go out and say, hey, take a dump. It'll be fine. It'll end up in the dirt. No, it's going to be there for at least weeks and weeks and weeks until your neighbor or somebody else has to pick it up. So think about these things. And there's no blame with what you don't know. That's why you come to shows like this. So we can say, hey, there's an easy way to do it. And this might motivate you on why we would really encourage you to do it.
Excellent points as always. Thank you. And Zia is in India. So welcome. We're happy to have you with us.
Absolutely.
So we were talking just a moment ago about trauma and the trauma to our planet. You don't have to go far to see what's going on. You just have to open your eyes and have an open heart. And we have someone with us today, Hema, the Holistic Mystic. She's joined us before. We're going to be talking about trauma. And before I bring her out, just let our audience know again, how did you two connect?
Well, the internet is a fabulous, wonderful place. And a lot of us in different fields start connecting just on a very organic level. And Hema and I did that. We found each other through not only social media, but things that we really feel as core values. And you get on a phone call with somebody, you get on an email stream with somebody, and when you have the connection that I'm really fortunate to not just have with her, but with all the guests that I've brought on. And that's why, because I'm so passionate about what they do. I want to make sure it's not just me and 20 of my closest friends that I tell, that we get it out for everybody, because the information is free. And then you get to decide what you want to do with it. And she's very eloquently spoken, and she has some wonderful ideas, and she's had a different life than I've had. So I love the new information.
Brilliant. Well, let us welcome Hema, the Holistic Mystic. Welcome to the show.
Great, thank you. It's exciting to be back. It feels like I'm coming home with you two. I'm gonna have to move in with you, Dr. JACALYN.
Dr. JACALYN just does that, makes it all comfortable for us all.
Yeah, it feels really great. I'm happy to be back. Thank you.
Thanks for coming back, and let our audience know again, where are you joining us from?
I'm actually in Northern California. So as AMINAH said, we actually met at an entrepreneur group, and so we instantly connected. So Northern California, beautiful here. Happy to be with you.
So you actually met in person. That's what a concept.
I know. Funny.
So we need to map and write down what in person means.
You know what? I just realized we met over Zoom. Actually, it felt like we were in person, but it was during the pandemic, as we all know. So yeah, it was a great connection.
Well, some people might be joining us for the first time, and we welcome them. And so for those who have been here before, it's okay. Please educate our audience. What is a holistic mystic, and what do you do?
Yeah, great question. So I call myself the Holistic Mystic, and I'm actually a psychic and an empath and a medium. So that means that I can actually channel spirits from the beyond, spirits that have passed on. And I help people work through any blockages that they have. So if someone is feeling challenged with their life, or they're experiencing challenges in their life that aren't making them happy, there could be reasons for that. And I actually work at an energy level with our energy bodies to help people identify what the blockages are, and also to help them release those blockages so they can live a really empowered life. And I use a variety of tools to do this. I get messages from spirit guides. I get messages from ancestors that have passed on. I get messages from spirit animals. It just depends on what the person needs. And so all of that combined helps them heal from anything that could be blocking them. So it's pretty exciting work. I love seeing when people come in and they're feeling all contracted and challenged, and then after a healing session, they're different people almost, and they live different lives. So it's very exciting for me, and I'm happy to share that here.
We're happy that you're here as well, sharing the information. And Hema, you have a strong background in technology. And one thing that I see over and over again on this platform is people start freaking out about the computer. It won't do this and it won't do that. And I'm wondering, how do we take the energy, right? This everything's energy, but how do we take our energy and maybe not take it to another level so we're completely off balance when it comes to the energy that technology is giving out? How can we be one with our technology?
That's a good question too. Well, so technology is supposed to work for you, not against you. But sometimes I know it doesn't feel like that. One of the things that I found, and this is a good rule for life in general, is just slow down, first of all. You know, technology is supposed to make everything so quick and help us do things very quickly, but to take time to really understand what you're doing. And I think that's a good rule of thumb for anything that you do. And then also, when something doesn't go quite the way you imagined it should go, don't get emotional about it, right? It's not about you. I understand that there can be frustration and anger sometimes, but that just blocks energy and doesn't help you get in, solve the problem. So stay calm. Use breath work, be meditative and Zen if you can when you're dealing with technology or really anything in your life. And if you use those techniques and try to stay in a place of neutrality rather than reactivity, then technology will go your way, and so will other things in your life. But yeah, I understand it can be challenging. But with these tools, slow down, try to stay in the neutral zone, don't get overly reactive, and also to just stay calm. Things will go better in all fronts, actually.
Good points. Thank you. A follow-up before we go to AMINAH.
Here, Dr. Jacqueline, if I can. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
but
go ahead.
You're perfect. And then I, of course, will say, go hug a pet.
That helps.
A pet, because we all know that animals, believe it or not, have no agenda. I get so many new clients. They're usually the brand new ones. Oh, he always hates me. He never, or she never, and they're blaming the animal for all kinds of things. I'm thinking, that's not a thing. Animals are very much in the moment. They don't do the hate and forgive. They will react to abuse, of course. They will act to kindness, all in the same 5 minutes. I've seen people retaliate and spank their dog or whatever. It's still hitting. And then 5 minutes later, they cry, I'm so sorry. And here comes that dog, cat, hamster, and say, okay, you're good. Remember that there is forgiveness for yourself in the moment when we get really highly frustrated. Maybe it's time to get a glass of water, go for a walk, or just sit down and hug a pet or a stuffy. I don't care. But Hema, what you're saying is so spot on.
Yes, absolutely. And I think part of the reason that I brought it up is because when we have things that happen to us, many times we make them into a bigger deal than they are. And that's why I brought up technology. And we stop listening. We are no longer even present. We are in our own world. We go down this rabbit hole. And then when something really traumatic happens, we don't have the skill set that we need because we weren't doing the work along the way. So Hema, I'd love for you to speak to that.
Yeah, one of the things that I shared with you, I think the first time I came on, which wasn't that long ago, was I started off being a yoga teacher. That kind of put me on the path of teaching more around spirituality and energy work, although I'd been an energy healer for many, many years before being a yoga teacher. And what I found in my yoga classes was that once people got centered and grounded, and they started getting in touch with what was going on with their bodies and doing the stretches, that emotions were releasing in class. And that could have something to do with, the vibe that I give off being an energy healer as well. So people felt safe to just sit in my class, go through the poses and let the emotions come out. And I realized that, You know, our body stores a lot of trauma. Like a sponge stores water, our body stores trauma. And if we don't do things to be able to help the body to release that trauma, you know, we're walking around with a very heavy sponge, let's just say, or a very heavy energy body. And so trauma can affect us at many different levels. It can affect our physical body, it can affect us energetically, it can actually affect us at a soul level. And so trauma is one of the things that I really enjoy talking about and teaching about, because I want people to know that it is possible to overcome trauma. It is possible to overcome an experience that's happened in your life previously, a negative experience, or even positive experience sometimes can cause trauma, that it is possible to recover from that. And, you know, yoga is one way to do that. And I'd love to share other ways too. But, you know, the key point here is that our body stores trauma just like water, a sponge stores water. And we need a way to wring out that sponge every now and again. And so physical movement, mindful movement is one way to do that. And then there are other ways you can do that too, by going to see an energy healer like myself, who can actually look into your body and see what's happening with your chakras, with your different energy centers in your body. That's what a chakra is. And so there's many ways to do this, but you know, trauma is something that is being talked about a lot these days, that I think a lot of people realize is a real thing, is a very important thing to discuss, especially after what's happened during the pandemic. So that's what I want people to know, is that, yes, you can recover from experiences that have happened to you in the past.
Thanks for sharing that. Hema, do we have to actually relive the trauma again?
Yeah, no, you don't have to relive the trauma. Many clients come to me and they're like, "Oh, I'm worried about having to relive that." What I do isn't talk therapy. There is some talking that's involved, but what it is I actually go into your body from an energy perspective. I scan the body and I see, like, what is the body holding on to? Where does the sponge need to be wrung out a little bit? And there could be memories that are stored in your body that you don't even consciously remember. But your body remembers. Your body knows where that's stored, and your body hangs on to things. And those are the things that could be blocking you from achieving what you want to achieve. And so what I do is I actually look into the body and see where the energy blockages are. You don't have to relive what happened to you at all. Maybe describe it a little bit to me, but it's just about acknowledging that it happened, and also finding where that blockage is in the body, and then doing things to be able to transmute that. It's like reprogramming the energy centers of the body, really. And what I found is that clients come to me who have been through a lot of talk therapy, and they come and do some energy work with me, you know, a few sessions, and they tell me it's like doing 10 years of talk therapy. It's a fast track to healing, and you don't have to relive anything. You can just be in your body. There may be some emotions that need to be expressed, things that are stored that you need to let go of. You don't have to relive it in your head. You don't have to relive the incident as it happened. I guide people as to what they need to release and what they need to acknowledge. And so it's not as intense for some people as talk therapy, but from an emotive perspective, from a body perspective, it can be a little intense. But then afterwards, you know, you're like new. You're like a fresh sponge, and you're ready to go out and be in the world in your most empowered way.
That's really exciting to know that we don't have to go back there. We can go forward. And
Right.
so many times people are skeptical. They're skeptical. They live in a position of fear instead of embracing something, being curious about something. They're afraid to go and move forward. But you help alleviate that. You help debunk that. And especially, I love just mentioning the breathing techniques and the yoga. Yoga can be so life-changing. It's also competitive if you go to power yoga and you've been in class with me. But side crow, who can stay up the longest? No, that's another subject.
Side crow's intense. That's all I can say. Yeah. Kudos to you if you can do that.
But, to your point earlier about yoga, many times you get into a pose and you feel the emotion, you feel the tension coming in. You didn't even know it was there. And it's stored up in your body, like you said. And I think for many of us, even with our shoulders, we walk around, we're hunched up or hunched over. And until we do something or try something different, we're not even aware of what we have stored inside us.
Yeah, like just like with trauma, we get stuck into how our body moves. And so yoga and other things like qigong, even martial arts are so good for that because it encourages you. You get to use your body in a different way than you've been using before. Like, a lot of us are stuck in front of the computer. Like you mentioned, shoulders are up like this and we're typing. And so it's all about just relaxing the body and getting you to adopt poses that will help release some of that energy. So, there's a lot of things. Yoga has been very effective. But, the thing that can affect our body, like I said before, is how trauma affects us from an energy and an emotional perspective. So if you have had some trauma in your past life, meaning when you were younger in this life, that causes you to feel like you're not safe, then you might walk around with your shoulders hunched over, and I'm, of course, exaggerating that movement, but you might walk around in a protective stance. And so that can cause injury to your body because you're constantly holding yourself like this. But once you work with someone like me and you learn how to feel safer in the world, then your shoulders can come back. You can feel less contracted. You're open to receive whatever the world has to give you. But, all of these things are related to each other. So you might have an emotion that's causing your body to hold itself in a certain way. So it's like a triangulation. We have to look at emotions, trauma, and body to be able to solve and heal all three of those things at the same time.
I just feel very hopeful listening to what you have to say, especially today. So when does someone start working with you? Is it, I feel uncomfortable, something's going on, or oh, this horrible thing anybody could say that I was just robbed, whatever the case might be. When is a good point to reach out to you?
Yeah, when people reach out to me is when they feel really stuck in their lives. So often they've tried a few different things and things aren't working. They feel like they're dating the same person over and over again, although it's different people, but they're reliving the same patterns. Or that Dr. Jacalyn, okay, we need to work together. Or you go to a job and it feels like you have the same boss. The same thing is happening in a cyclical fashion. When you start noticing that, that's a good time to reach out to me because there's been some awareness on your side that there's a pattern that you're reliving and a pattern that you don't like. So awareness is always the first step. If you don't know what's happening, that's maybe not a good time to come. You could be aware that something in your life is not happening the way you want it to happen. That's also a good time. You may not know why. That can also be a good time. It can be a good time to reach out to me, as if I said before, you see these patterns happening and you're like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me over and over. And if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like things in your life aren't going the way you want them to, like your relationship isn't fulfilling and happy, or your money situation, you're not feeling abundant, or your health is not the way that you'd like it to be, there's any number of things, or, family relationships are not feeling comfortable. If there's anywhere in your life where you're feeling super challenged and it feels like no matter what you do, you're stuck with that, that's when there's an energy block. And that's when it's a good time to come and see me, because you could be reacting to something that happened in your past and you don't even know it. And that filters how you view things happening to you now. And so it's good to have someone like me who can actually use psychic insights to pin down, okay, what's happening. The other thing too can be, trauma can actually affect how you see the world. So someone might say something really simple, like fairly innocuous to you, but because you have some trauma and you have a trigger around a certain word or a certain phrase, you might react. So if you start overreacting in your life, if you're coping with lots of anger or lots of sadness, that's also a good time to come and see me, because that shows that something is off balance. It shows that something might be a little, need to come back to center. Like, again, the word off balance. So when there's extreme emotions like that, it shows that there's some sort of trigger that's happening, trigger that relates to previous experiences that you've had. And so that's a good time to come and see me as well. Really, if anything is feeling super challenging in your life and you've tried different things and can't make those changes, it could be that there are some trauma patterns. It could be that there's some generational patterns that are happening. And it could be that you've inherited some stuff from your mom or your dad that you don't even know. And this is where, my ability to talk to spirits that have moved on, that's a great insight, because then we get more information about, oh, this is a family pattern. This is a generational pattern. You can break those patterns by repatterning yourself to something that's a little bit more positive. So there's all kinds of different ways to do this. And there's definitely ways to heal the trauma. It really is about reprogramming how we think, being more aware of our emotions, and learning how to not control them, but change them. Like having that choice in the moment to say, well, oh, I'm going to my old pattern of getting super angry about this thing. Can I change how I react? Because getting angry is not really serving me. And so taking that step back and generating awareness and creating awareness to be able to make those changes, that's one of the first steps that are needed to reprogram how you act in the world, how you view things in the world, and then it changes how you react. And when you change how you react, it changes your energy, and it changes also what can come to you, because we all operate at a frequency, and so it can change what we manifest, what we attract to us. There's all kinds of lovely changes that can happen if someone is willing to do the deep work and take on some of these steps that I've talked about.
Yes, I'm back here shaking my head. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, both of us.
Before someone comes to see you, like before you go to a doctor, you have to fill out forms or whatever. Is there any work we need to do personally before we have a session with you? I don't mean paperwork, but I mean anything that we need to really be honest with ourselves. Okay, I'm at a place where I do need help. I'm going to be open. I'm going to go in with an open mind.
Right. Open mind and open heart is always a good way to start. Before I work with someone, I typically have a kind of get to know you conversation where I ask the person, are you really willing to make a change? Are you aware of what is happening in your life? So awareness is the key thing. And there's an intake form that I fill out with them, but it's mostly a conversation. And I try to gauge, how open is this person to change? Because some people are really attached to their trauma pattern. And some people feel really comfortable when things aren't going well because it reminds them of something that happened in their childhood. So, are you willing to let go of that? And you're willing to adapt and, bring into your life a new pattern that can be more empowering for you? So those are the kinds of questions that I ask and, have a get to know you conversation. Some people are not a good fit. Some people are just like, oh yeah, I don't want to do the work. I don't want to look at that stuff. I don't want to change who I am. And then I say, well, peace be with you. And if you need more help later on in your life, like I'm here. But what I find is because of the frequency that I put out and what I meditate on and who I want to manifest are those people that want to make the deep changes in their lives and who have finally found someone who can help them do that. And it can affect you in all kinds of ways. Once you make these wonderful changes, you could have better finances, you could have better relationships, you can have better intimacy, better sexuality. I mean, when energy flows, everything starts getting better and more empowering. And those are some of the upsides that people need to realize, is that it's possible to clear out energy and to have the kind of life that you've always wanted. Just know that it requires work. It requires some practices. It requires some discipline. But, I'm there to help you. I hold your hand and I encourage you and I help you walk through this process. These are all things that I do for myself as well. And it might seem like it's challenging, but once you start seeing the changes happen in your life, then it becomes really exciting. And so that's when it becomes so fun to do.
Yes, and then you realize it was worth making the effort. And to both of you, I know I've heard this in the work I do with people, and I'm sure you have. I'd like you to speak on it. oh, I know I need to make a change, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time right now. Maybe the time will be, I don't know, maybe in a month or 2 months. No, the time is now. What are your thoughts? Amina, do you want to
Yeah,
jump in?
yeah. Do you want to jump in, Amina?
Yeah, it's exactly what Hema's talking about. Is you have to make that choice that your time is now. It's not, oh, I'll fix me later, because so many of us don't realize that we need to be a priority. I'm not saying that we're going to turn into some selfish human being and knock everybody out of the way figuratively, or be the bull in the china shop in how you walk through the world. But at some point, if you haven't already, you have to choose you. You have to choose you, because guess what happens when you choose you in a healthy, balanced way? This is what we are talking about, healthy and balanced, and how to get there. And what Hema is talking about is getting healthy and balanced. But if you don't choose you, then there's no healthy balance that you share with anybody, because you have to have that love for yourself and the world and all the things we talk about, and loving, for me, the honeybee and the pets next door. Because if you live in hatred and anger and everything, that negativity is what you wear. And it's in your heart, it's in your soul, it's in your fingertip. And everybody walks around, we've all done this, especially women are really good at it, is we walk around going, "Ooh, that was a scary thing." And I know, Hemi, you've probably had it. I've been walking with my girls or something like that, and I'm like, "Oh," and I get off the sidewalk, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I don't know, but that was not good. Whatever that was, I'm letting walk." And it could be just the energy, and it could be somebody who'd walked by who's such a toxic energy that people like Kevin and I can feel it 25 steps after they've left, because we're like, "Whoa, boy." I remember him. I don't know if you've ever had this. I walked into a room, like a store or something. It was happened so long ago. There was lots of people. So let's say it was a mall, and all of a sudden I felt horribly ill, like I was gonna throw up, and I was getting all those sweaties and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, goodness sakes! And both my girls turned around and said, "Woo, what happened?" Because my face, I guess, was really white. And I said, "Well, I don't know who just walked by, but we're not going that way. Go that way." And they're like, "Wow, you can feel it." Yeah, when you have and you are an empath, it took me time to learn to put up barriers for myself and not be accosted by all this. But sometimes you're just walking along, having a great day, and talking to friends, talking to your kids, whatever, talking to the dog, if you're me, and you get accosted. That's where you learn. And what Hem is offering is how to show you to put up those barriers to protect yourself and to live in love, not only for yourself, but for everybody else. But you have to protect yourself from the toxic people, plants, I don't care what it is, but there is toxicity out there, and we need to learn to coexist by keeping that as far away from us as possible. And I love the tools you're giving him. It's life-changingly valuable. If you haven't gone through it, please give her a call, because this will change your life for your career, your balance, your relationships with everybody in your life. Is it smooth sailing ever? Always? No, nothing's always. You have to work at this. You have to earn where you get. Dr. JACALYN, you didn't just one day say, "Hey, I'm going to put a show together and we're just going to get on there and we're going to have millions of people watching us." No, it's work. It's like anything you do that matters. It's work.
Yeah, I'm gonna add to some of what you said and maybe disagree a little bit. I agree with what you're saying. Living in love is really important, and I think that what you were trying to say is that when someone is kind of toxic energy, or they have energy that's maybe not super high vibration, people can feel it. So just like the trees and just like mushroom, we're all connected. If you haven't read about mushroom and how they're intelligent creatures, actually intelligent plants and trees, and how connected everything is, we're connected in the same way, but with energy. So it's not through a root system or through fungi, it's through energy. And Amina's saying, we can feel your energy if you're not vibrating at a higher frequency, or living in love, or a love frequency. But I would also say that sometimes change happens on your own timeline. And although it is important to make change, maybe you're not ready. It could very well be that you're not ready. And so it's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that maybe things aren't going the way you want them to and that you want to change. It's also okay to admit that you're not ready for change. And that's good. That's a good place to be. So I'm going to say it is important to choose yourself, but it's also important to honor, how you're feeling. If you're really feeling like you don't want to do the work, okay, honor that. That's okay. But I'm going to say, if anyone watching this is concerned about the state of the planet, around the state of the world, the state of just humanity in general, then I say, refer to the Man in the Mirror song by Michael Jackson. You may not like the artist, but the song says it all, which is you got to start with the person that you see in the mirror. Start changing the world around you by changing yourself. Because when you change yourself, you have this effect. You can change your energy vibration, and then you can affect all kinds of other people around you. Just by seeing you change, someone can make changes on their own. You don't even have to do anything. So I think that if we all strive to live in the frequency of love, that AMINAH said, live in love, we could make a lot of changes just by being ourselves, just by trying to be the best version of ourselves. We can all have a ripple effect to other people. And that's the kind of thing that can actually change the world. And so if any of those things concern you around what I talked about, then now is maybe the time for you to step up and make some changes and find how you can live in love in all kinds of different ways in your life. So yeah, but as I said before, honor the journey that you're on. And if you're not ready for a change now, that's okay. And if you're ready for a change now, give me a shout. My website, you can reach me there. And we can have a conversation. So but just honor where you are on your own journey, but realize that everyone is affected by you and around you, even though you may not realize it.
Thanks, Hema. And with the tools and techniques that you teach people, coach people on, is it possible that they could still reach out to you in the future?
Oh, absolutely.
Some other issues that they have.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. You can reach out to me anytime. My URL is up there, hemaholisticmystic.com. So, I honor people and where they are on their journey, and reach out and we can have a conversation and figure out, is this something that we want to work on right now? But here's the thing. Typically, when there's an energy blockage, it's affecting many different areas in a person's life. So we can work on like one energy block that can change a lot of different things in your life. It doesn't have to be the whole thing all at once. We can piecemeal out how to work together. But contact me, because I came into this world with a set of gifts that I think are extraordinary. I'm able to see what people's bodies tell me. I'm able to pick up on memories that your body is holding on, and traumatic incidences, and actually able to shift that and change what your body holds on to. The whole, psychic, getting messages and spirits from the beyond. I feel like it's this powerful combination that I am empowered to offer to people. And it's my mission on this planet and my purpose to help people live their full, empowered life, live in love, as AMINAH said. And so, help me achieve my purpose and fulfill my passion by helping you. And that's, I think, basically how it works. So, give me a shout if you're curious, and if you feel like you need the help right now, and if you want to make the world a better place. It really can happen that way.
Thank you so much, Hema, for another great interview. But for people who are listening on the radio or they can't read the banner, if you could just tell them again your website and email address, that would be terrific.
Yeah, the website is www.hemaholisticmystic.com. So HEMA holisticmystic.com. And on there, you can actually send me an email. So if you just go to my website, you can actually book some time with me, or send me an email and set up a consultation. I'd be happy to do that with you. So it's hemaholisticmystic.com. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Wonderful. We look forward to seeing you back here again. And thank you for sharing these fabulous tips that you did today.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Can't thank you both enough. This has been great. A lot of fun with you both.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. All right. Have a beautiful weekend. And again, feel free to book in on this or any of our other shows. We'd love to have another chat with you.
Will do. Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. Bye. Lots of great takeaways as always: education, inspiration, and hope.
And that's why we're all a good fit, because we want to move everybody forward, and it shouldn't cost a lot of money. Or in this way, you've offered this platform for free to everybody to listen to on YouTube or wherever they can get a link. And that is so vital. So I honor you so much every week and every day that you put together, because I watch your other shows, and it's the same thing. If you're into music or you're into diets or you're into jokes or whatever, you've given the whole person that a person could be or wants to be or is, and you've covered all of that. And you can only do that with the quality of the co-host you have and that type of stuff. But we all feel, I know, very blessed, and so do our guests, because we're getting the word out that there's another way to do things. Just because I wasn't raised around psychics at all, people always ask me that. Oh, you always been? Well, yeah, but I didn't know that. I just thought everybody just thought I was quirky. And that's what that word means, right? Yeah, she's just a little different, because I have been talking to plants and animals my whole life. And yes, I get caught at it all the time. And I don't care, because it's so organic to who I am. People have asked me, well, it would be the same thing as what's it like to be blonde or white? I don't know. That's just the way I was born. So when you come at it, people like Hema and myself, we want to show you that it's just who we are, and who we are wants to share it with you for free. And the money will come. Be able to turn the lights on will come. But thank you so much, Dr. JACALYN. I mean, this is amazing to be able to offer so much free information that will help somebody now who listens to it now. And even if they find somebody local or they find another psychic, it doesn't matter to us. Of course, we have to make a living. That's the reality of it. But we'd rather you get help and you get new ideas, and you know that you're not the only one. You're not up against just one psychic in the world. There's a plethora, and we're now connected by YouTube, by videos, by anybody all around the world. So thank you. I feel blessed every time I get to listen to all these things. And you remember, I wasn't raised in any of this, so I'm always learning, and I love it. I love it.
I appreciate you, Amina, and thank you for filling out the survey, by the way, for our team members. I appreciate that as well. But it is a lot of fun, and I learn every day. I told you this before. I just amazed. I'll go out for a walk after this for about 7 miles, and I'll be thinking, it's kind of like, wow, I learned this and I learned that and I learned this. It's amazing. So thank you so much for sharing and for bringing the guests that you're bringing as well. And we do have our reunion show coming up, and you'll be joining us twice, which is exciting. September the 18th. If anyone's interested, it's not an interview, it's live streaming. This is our third one. We'll be live streaming for 6 hours, and we invite any of our former guests to come and promote themselves for 15 minutes. And I think one of the cool takeaways, and I'd love to have you speak on this, is that you actually, while you're there on the screen, you're meeting new people you've never met before. And there's a lot of collaborations and connections that are made with people from around the world. So I highly encourage everyone. It's $29 and it's 15 minutes for your 15 minutes of fame. Any comments you'd like to make about the reunion show?
I really encourage everybody. It's so much fun because we laugh. We would cry, but it would be the hard laughing cry. And we share just what organically comes. It's like saying, okay, we have this script and we're going to go this way because it's relevant to the script, and it's that fun and organized and unorganized. So you've got all the slick, wonderful things that you make sure that everybody can hear us. The screens are great. The vision's great. But how many times I'd love for you to go, well, that was amazing, and not a plan at all in what we were going to talk about. I know you and I have gotten off on either a guest has brought it up or something. We're like, oh, and it really just feels like that's what we need to talk about. That's what we need to cover. And somebody out there, it would be wonderful if those people would say, oh, I was dying to hear that, because it's hundreds of people hopefully over the time, because these videos last in perpetuity, and you can go back to our beginning ones, our end ones, and the middle ones, and just learn so much and watch how we learn with what we're doing. So all your shows have so much content, and that's why it's fabulous. It's a video. You not only get to watch our faces and our voices, and I love radio. That's another great platform, but you also get to replay it. And I don't know you, I can't write notes that fast. So if you turn on your captions and that type of thing, sometimes I've done that where I can't have the audio. I'm in a position where I'm watching, and it wouldn't be appropriate, and I don't have earbuds, because then I'm not paying attention to whatever I'm supposed to be doing. But I can read the captions because something else is coming in auditory. If you're in that gift and you know how to multitask, that's wonderful, because you have this set up for those abilities to read it, watch it, read it and watch it, wherever you're at. So come join us. There's so many things you might not know you really needed to know.
Thank you so much for that, Amina. And I will put the link in the chat if anyone's interested. I'm going to spotlight you. Let us know how people can hire you, how they can reach out to you.
Well, bridgingworlds.us is my website. It's also my email address, but there's a couple of others. So bridging, BRIDGING WORLDS.us is my website. And everything you want to know, all my links to my social media. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook only on the social media. That's where my family crew is, and hopefully you will be. And you can come to the website anytime and find out what I do. I have a 1 hour fee, and it is so many times goes over, but I don't really always charge you, because it's where we needed the show to go. I'm more about you getting the answers you need. And I'm not the only one out there that can give you answers. I will refer you if you need somebody like Hema or somebody else that has a gift that goes in a different direction. Psychics are very individualistic. Yes, I can teach you how to play tennis, and I played tennis for years and years and competed in it. But is it the right way for you? There is a proper way to hold the racket and all this. It's the same with the psychic world. There are proper ways to do it, but it's pretty loose on how to do that. So again, if you need any help, bridgingworlds.us is all my information and my background. I have worked with wildlife all my life, and wildlife in cages, sadly, that were in captivity, lions actually. And I would love to share my, not only as a vet assistant and not only as actually working with animals full time and a pet owner, of course, but also what I hear and what they talk about and how you can get a better communication with your animals. I'll give you techniques on how to do that. And Dr. JACALYN, we should talk about that. We'll make that a show, how to talk to your animals and how to get that conversation really going where you understand what they're doing. And we'll talk about the language of the tail and the language of the ears.
Sounds great. We'll do that on a future show. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, my friend, for being here once again, and look forward to chatting with you throughout the week.
It's Friday for sure, and throughout the week. Take care.
Thanks. You too. Bye for now. Well, folks, it's the end of another week here at USA Global TV and Radio. And I hope that you have been able to tune in to a number of our shows, because as Amina mentioned, we have so many different shows with different topics. And we invite you to be part of our network here. How can you do that? You can go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and you can go ahead and book your session. We do have opportunities as we look to the 2023 broadcasting season for you to join us as an official team member. We have various opportunities. Would you like to host your own show? Would you like to co-host a show with me like AMINAH is doing? Would you like to be a guest co-host, which means that you can just co-host when it works for you, so you don't have to have a whole commitment every week or every other week? Would you like to join us as an expert presenter on our Talking Heads platform? Are you interested in being a panelist for our wellness show and some of the other shows we have coming up? Are you interested in learning how to listen at an elevated level so that you can have more authentic conversations? Are you arguing with people? Do you feel like you're not being heard? How much are you doing in terms of showing up as an active listener? If you're interested in learning any of these things, being a part of any of these things, please do reach out. You can go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com. Also, in case you're not aware, I'm a certified life, career, and executive coach, and I can help you with issues if you have any type of chronic illness, if you need to change careers, if you're kind of lost in your current career. These are areas where I really bring value and expertise. I also can coach you how to nail that interview, how to be a fabulous presenter and speaker. So I'm here. If you're interested, again, go over usaglobaltv.com, contact us. Thank you so much. We are signing off for the rest of the day and the rest of the week, but you can still watch our shows over on our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio. We'll see you back here on Monday. Take care. God bless. And please be good to yourself and others as well.